Today, my friends, we are graced with greatness. I'm so excited to be here with my co host of the kitchen, Alex Guarnaschelli. Alex is an Iron Chef. She's a longtime judge of Chopped. She also hosts Supermarket Stakeout, Alex versus America. She's written several best-selling cookbooks. She's executive chef of Butter, and she just opened Clara at the New York Historical Society, which I can tell you was one of my favorite restaurant meals of the year so far. She's also an amazing mom, and her daughter Ava just graduated high school. Welcome to All on the Table, Alex.
You just put it all on the table. Oh boy, I got nothing.
I'm exhausted just reading the list of things you do. Like, do you ever sleep?
Yeah, I know, but my bio makes me sound like a 12 out of 10. And in person, I might be more like a high 7. Yeah.
I just love you.
Same.
And you're my final kitchen co-host to interview.
I was trying to be like that, bag the elephant type vibes, like, oh, she's unavailable.
Well, I'm so happy you're here.
Me too.
And, I just wanted to ask you, I realized, sometimes when you've known somebody so long, like you don't actually talk about things that would be normal conversation for people you're just meeting. And I realized I'm not sure if I've ever asked you how and when you decided you wanted to be a chef.
Oh, thank God. I thought you were going to ask me about my love life. Because that would be like 3 minutes. You'd be like, all right, thanks. I don't know. I think I made a list of all the things I didn't want to do. I know a lot of people get up and they're like, what do I want to do? What kind of person am I? Or they imitate their parents, or they go into a family business. But for me, I just thought, I don't know if I can be cooperative. I don't want to sit at a desk. I don't want to have a desk. I don't want to wear color coordinated clothing. I need to sleep late and work late. And I thought, what are the professions that are amenable to the things that I'm unwilling to do? So that became a kind of like a list this long. And I had on it plumber and electrician. Because I thought, how many like that girl plumber type vibes? I thought I could get a lot of business that way, so to speak. And then I realized, like, I don't want to be a plumber. Noble profession. Lucrative when you're good at the craft. And there was all this cooking in my childhood that my mother and father did, but I was a spectator. How people are like, they have pictures of themselves in an apron with a chef's hat, like making biscuits. My mother, I watched her. I was a spectator to most of it. And so I don't think it occurred to me like, oh, you could do that. And then when I was in college, I would instead of studying, I would make lasagna for my whole floor. So I think it was always in the ether. And then my mother said, what do you like to do? And I said, well, really nothing. Is it okay to say that? I didn't want to do anything.
I get that.
Yeah.
Sometimes I don't want to do anything.
I really think we should make it our business. As my daughter would say, let's stand on business and say that it's okay to not want to do anything. So I thought, what genuinely could you do that you like? And so I said cooking. So I called my mother and she was like, go work for free in this restaurant and see if you like it. Katie, I went down to Larry Ford Jones at American Place on 32nd Street. I worked for one day in that pirate ship. And I was like, give me the peg leg and the parrot and eye patch. Sign me up. And
You were
I never
hooked
looked
right
back.
away.
I never looked back.
What was it about it that made you want to be there?
First of all, it was like a den of bears. And I just realized how growly I felt every day. Second of all, you do something that dispenses and gives something to the public, but you don't need to be seen. So you can act out any way you want on your own craft. And all that matters is what you give. And I like that thought, right? Even though I'm a Gemini and I'm sort of friendly and outward facing 50% of the time, I thought I like the electricity of just having to produce so much and then all people see is that final product, and you could have your own process.
There really is such a serious energy in a restaurant kitchen.
Oh, I think so. And I think I was lost. I mean, I thought, I got to find something to do with this temper. And that was another thing. I felt after I graduated from college, I got a degree in art history. I was
And by the way, you went to Barnard. It's like
Right.
you're smart, clearly.
vaguely,
Yeah.
but school's not for me. Everybody's like, oh my God, you're so articulate. You must have been an amazing student. No. Just no. No one has seen my college or high school transcript. I never have actually showed it See, I
But
don't
you
even know the
got
word.
in.
I got in, but let me tell you, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's always a few glitches. But my daughter pulled out my high school and college grades like a few months ago in a box, and she's like, "Wow, Mom, so way to buck the norm, type vibes." She's like, "I can't believe you have a job," but I loved cooking the food. The minute I started doing it, the minute that was my day, that was it. Right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know.
It is an art, and you are creating art and putting it out there. So it fulfills a certain creativity, but I think it also is a personality type in the restaurant
yeah.
kitchen.
I'm sorry. Yeah. I see people, in the restaurant in the kitchen, and I'm like, oh, no.
Bless your heart.
Yeah, but oh boy, bless her. Oh yeah, that Alex, she never married. Bless her heart. That vibe. People walk in and I'm like, you forget it. Sometimes I'll be at a coffee bar and the barista will make a coffee and he or she will be doing all this stuff and I'm like, they should work in a kitchen. And
what is the trait that you see?
I think it's that I watch somebody and they are doing something, but they are looking around, up and above and around at the next thing. Because their brain is such that they can sort of divide it ever so slightly to fully engage with this and also know what's going to come next. And there's like a physical fluidity that comes with that thinking, and you can see it.
Do you think that's front of the house as well, that you have to be able to multitask?
I do, but I think front of the house, you need some type of mask of graciousness. I really do. I think successful front of house people, they understand you're performing a service for someone, and you're the plate of food.
My favorite job ever was I was a hostess in a restaurant, and that to me, it was like I was hosting a party every night.
The thing about you is you're loaded with subtext. So either we can say, well, that Katie, she's just, what a peach that gal is.
You know what's behind here.
Yeah. I'm like thinking, if you're my server and you're like, so you're having black coffee and the halibut? Okay. And there's a little
I was
eyebrow.
not a good server.
See the eyebrow? You can't have an eyebrow like that, Katie. You gotta.
It doesn't work.
You should tape your eyebrows so they stay straight and just say hello.
And you just completely Botox them.
Ragu bolognese. You got it, baby. Yeah.
Now let's go back to your mom, because you brought up your mom cooking and your dad cooking.
Yeah.
And that you were more of an observer in that. I think a lot of times that happens. Like my grandma was the ultimate cook. My mom just observed. My grandma didn't really let her cook with her, but she let me. I think once it was, she was older and had less to do. But let's talk about your mom, because she was a really famous cookbook editor.
She was like the Quincy Jones, of cookbooks. She was the Spielberg of cookbooks. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So for a long time, I would go to events in my early chefing years, and people would say, I know you. Your mother declined my cookbook 3 times. So I started going to parties or events and just kind of not really feeling the need to share my last name. Seriously. But my mother's process in editing these cookbooks was to cook her way through them. And I don't know many editors that likely did that. I'm not dogging anybody else. But my mother would so for 6 months, Katie, we would eat this cookbook. And everybody's like, oh, that must have been so wonderful. Not really. Because, we did like an Italian cookbook. That was cool. But my mother did Rose Birnbaum's The Cake Bible. And I ate cake for 6 months. I mean, my mom was like, there's iceberg lettuce and cake. And there would be 3 or 4 cakes on the table. And, let me tell you.
Do you think that's why you're such a good cake baker?
I think thank you. I'm going to take that compliment.
You are really, like, for anybody out there who doesn't know, nobody makes a birthday cake like Alex.
Yeah, I love to bake. No, I think it's so calming compared to decades of line cooking.
Yeah, but it's kind of amazing because most people are one or the other, and you can really bake as well.
Well, thank you. The example of my parents is my mother cooking from a manuscript. So I'm a really big fan of a recipe, and I'm really tired of this thing where people are like, chefs don't need recipes. Chefs don't cut themselves. Are you kidding me? I love a great recipe. I just cut my finger yesterday. I'm saying we're human.
Yes.
And I think we can't let go of reading from a book and cooking from a book just because we cook all day long. Yeah, and so sometimes I'm at home cooking and Ava's like, why are you cooking? And I'm like, I'm practicing my craft. She's like, this is the one thing that you know how to do. Why don't you do something else? And I just think, I think the secret to happiness, the special sauce, is finding your craft and hunkering down and just doing that and finding such satisfaction from that. Because I think we're dissatisfied, Katie. If we're not careful, we're super dissatisfied.
Oh, I get that.
Yeah.
Yeah. We all have our moments where it's like
Yeah.
you start to get a little dark and start to
Oh,
get
yeah.
jaded.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's hard not to get jaded, especially in our business,
I think
because
so.
you try so many different things and something's really good and something's not.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of failure.
Yes.
Massive amounts of failure. I'm
Mhm,
like, whoop.
mhm.
All right, then.
So how do you continue to hone your craft then?
I think that for me, it's literally just cooking. The straight up cooking. Put your apron on and do that work. It's like going to the gym for a fitness influencer. It's like just staying, super connected to what you physically do that then gives birth to all your ideas, your creativity, what you write, what you say. All of that is informed by cooking. For me, by the way, everybody has a different process.
So what inspires you?
First of all, I love ingredients. I know that sounds so corny. And I don't just mean like the cute little bottle of balsamic that's like, oh. I mean, I'll go to a farm stand and forget it. I'll buy so much. And then I'll go home and be like, what am I going to do with 18 bunches of radishes? So I'm not so good at quantity control. But if I'm anywhere where there's produce, I feel it. Also, I'll go to a market where there's a lot of different stuff. If there's a meat counter, if the fish is all packed on ice, like, hey, girl, forget it. People are like, oh, are you having a dinner party? No, I'm not. What? I don't know what happened.
So what do you do with all of it?
I just cook, and then I make people come over. I eat it.
I'm available.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We don't live that far away. You
True.
can text me and say, come eat.
I appreciate that. And we are on your podcast, and so generally you talk about the guest, but people say to me, oh, so like what is each co-host on The Kitchen like? And I always say, you'd be so surprised at what a huge repertoire Katie has. I don't think a lot of people.
That's so nice.
It's
Thank
true.
you.
And by the way, that's part of really being great at what you do. You have a repertoire of recipes that work, that are delicious. And also, they're super simple, deceptively so. And I have watched you on The Kitchen make all types of dishes, and I've stood there like, and think to myself, there's no way that's going to work. You are the co-host on The Kitchen who I've said that to myself the loudest and the most and been wrong, every time. Every last single time. And there are dishes you make, I think about them. Your aunt's cake.
Oh,
that
that's
cake
so
you
nice
make.
of
What
you.
is it with is it apple or banana or pineapple?
Which one was that? Oh, that
Oh.
was the do nothing cake.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, do nothing and
Yeah.
get everything is what the name of that cake should be. And then your Cincinnati chili, which we've talked about a lot. Literally, Jeffrey Zakarian and I had to sidebar afterwards.
I can't believe you all like that chili so much.
It is absurd. Also, you just kind of do it, and and every time it's perfect. So I think that's another really important thing.
Well, that's very nice of you, Alex. Thank you.
But it makes you an authority. It makes you somebody I trust.
Well, I think you're right about continuing to hone your craft. And like, I'm not a trained chef, but I love to cook. And I get that from you, that you truly love what you're doing. So let's go back to you being at the farm stand with all the produce.
Yeah.
What is the creative process? You walk up and it's gorgeous. It's summertime. There's all the tomatoes, the corn, the peaches, everything. What's your thought process?
Well, first you got to edit out the stuff that, like, I don't know. It's just like, I don't know. I feel like the first thing I do is I look at the tomatoes and I just gauge where we are. Because I think the best tomatoes are literally in September and October. I'll eat tomato salad all the way to 2 weeks before Thanksgiving and say to myself, no one's in the mood for it anymore. Everybody's in pumpkins, cranberries, and pecans. But I like those late tomatoes. So if it's earlier in the season, but they look really pretty, I'll turn my back on them. And I'll go to the eggplant, those tiny little zucchini. I don't even like zucchini. Zucchini, look at it. It has no calories. It's healthy. It's loaded with vitamins. It's a fiber alert. It checks every box of healthy. And therefore, I look at it and I'm like, suckers buy this. But when they're tiny like that, those little yellow ones, and the skin, like you touch it and the skin feels so thin, it still feels almost warm from the sun. It's that whole sensation. It's seeing it, touching it, smelling it. So I'll go for the zucchinis. I'll go for the melon. Melon. We don't talk enough about melon.
You made a melon soup on the kitchen that was great.
Oh, yeah. Well, it has a little apple cider in it. So here's like kind of a peculiar moment where I think everything intersected. And I think, when I say I was a spectator to my parents' cooking, it almost gave me a little bit of a like, you're not good enough to be in the show, right? Like you're not on the field. You sit on the bench and watch. And there's nothing wrong with that. And tasting the result over and over again helps you when you start actually cooking. But Butter, my Midtown restaurant, it's been open for 25 years, which I kind of am just like,
I mean, in restaurant years, that's like a dinosaur.
It's like 150.
It's amazing.
When in the early years, I would go to the market on Wednesdays and buy some stuff, and we would make specials and stuff. But the restaurant wasn't that busy. Even though it was a celebrity hotspot, some nights of the week, we just didn't have a ton of business. But it always managed to kind of pull itself together, and it just grew and grew and grew. But I had gone to the market that Wednesday and bought a few kooky things, and there wasn't much in the fridge. And they called me into the office, and they were like, look, Prince is going to come tonight for dinner. Really, we don't know when. So I waited. I'm making a very long story short, but I waited until 2:00 in the morning. And I'd been there since noon, and we'd given up. Everybody had had a couple beers. There was like 3 of us in the kitchen. We were like, okay. And this purple car pulls up and purple dust.
No way. Purple?
Yeah. I mean, literally, like they were like sprinkling purple glitter on the street. And he came in and they were like, you can go and ask him what he wants to eat, but you can't look at him. So I went to the table and was like, hey, what would you like to eat? So I didn't look at him. And he was like, I just want some vegetables. I'm a vegetarian. So I went into the refrigerator and I realized if I hadn't gone to the market that morning and kind of impulse shopped everything I always did, I wouldn't have had anything to make him. I would have had some onions and garlic and a leek, like a lonely little leek. And I just took all that and I felt activated, if that makes sense. Like someone took the glass that is powder and poured a giant just bubbling bottle of water into it. And we made all these little dishes. There were like 10 or 12 little plates. I thought he must like that stuff, like whatever. And then the security guard came out and he's like, you can go see him. And I went out to see him and he said, sit down. And he was with Lenny Kravitz, which I didn't even notice. I mean, I don't mean to say, you know what I mean?
Well, it's Prince.
It's Prince. I mean, they're both amazing.
love Lenny Kravitz,
yeah,
but it's Prince.
We love. Sat down and he said, you were really a master of your craft. No one had ever, I don't think, used that word. And I said, thank you. And he said, who inspires you? And I said, I was just speechless and he said, do you want to know who inspires me? And I said, yeah. And he said, me. And I was like, oh, when it takes a minute?
Yeah.
He wasn't making a joke, by the way. Like, oh, that's a real knee slapper. No, he was serious. So I just said, I think ingredients inspire me. And he said, well, I think you're a member of the new power generation. And I was like, I'm NPG. And he was like, you're NPG. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to get up and leave because I don't want him to tell me to go. I want to leave my perfume at the table. You know what I'm saying? Sprinkle that zucchini blossom.
Leave him wanting more.
And I said, have a good evening. It was, by the way, like 5 a.m. by that time. Have a good evening. And I left and I thought this was a day where I began with my impulse shopping and my craft, and someone presented themselves peculiarly and saw me, recognized me, validated me. It was one of the most sort of 360 satisfying days of my life. And he, came to the restaurant in all the years after that. He would just come and find me, and we had this whole rapport. I mean, we weren't besties.
That's really an amazing story.
Yeah, we didn't go to like Flag Day picnics together or anything, you know what I'm saying? But we had our rapport. Mm-hmm. And I don't think I've had anybody validate my cooking quite in the same way. And he's not a chef. So I encourage people to hone in on a craft, because I think when you like specialize yourself, you invite all kinds of things in the ether from other like-minded people that make your life magical. I really believe that. I sound super hokey. I'm
No,
not
you don't.
gonna.
I love that. I think
Yeah,
that that's really meaningful and powerful.
I think
And
so.
I actually really like the who inspires me, because
Yeah,
there is a feeling when you get in the kitchen and you start cooking. It's not necessarily that something else is inspiring you, it's just your love of your craft
yep.
that is the inspiration.
It's amazing how if I wasn't listening, it would have sounded so wildly arrogant of him, and yet then he came in and played. He's closed the restaurant and he played for like 4 hours.
No way.
Yeah, many times. But he came in the afternoon and I was in the kitchen cooking and I kind of peeked out and he was in the dining room at Butter alone and he played every single instrument for like a couple hours. He was just on the drums and then he was. So this is just somebody, and isn't that the same as being able to bake a cake and grill a steak and make a really good stuffed cabbage and make a great salad and sort of not look at anything as more or less, but like the sum of their parts. I kind of hate, like, I feel like the grill guy thinks he's ruling the kitchen type vibes. Meanwhile, the person in the salad station who's making like 14 little herb whatever things probably has it rougher. So I just think it's a combination of all different things.
Well, everything's a collaboration. Everybody has their part that elevates it. And so when everybody is going at a 10, then it's really, really successful. So somebody like Prince, who then has the best backup musicians, the best backup singers, the best lighting, the best sound, it all makes the greatness. You running the restaurant, having the best grill chef, the best salad prep, it all makes the experience, the best front of the house staff. It all works together.
Oh, the front of the house in a restaurant is so important.
It really is.
And that, like, kind of like, oh, back of house and front of house or don't like each other. No one has time for that. Seriously, at the restaurant where we're like one big family, we function together because I think about this. I give you a plate of food, and if it's not right, you're the one out there, right? That's going to either
Yeah.
represent it and believe in it or take the hit if people don't
Yeah,
like it or
hear
whatever
about it.
else. And if a front of house person goes out to the dining room demoralized, then how does that help?
Well, the food can be great. And if you have terrible service,
Oh, yeah.
then you're not going back.
Definitely not. I will. Yeah, you're right. You're right. I think for me, if the food's great, I'm going to tolerate a lot more. But I don't think people like us represent how everyone feels. And by the way, eating out is expensive, and rightfully so.
It's so expensive
It's
now.
so expensive, and it has to be because that's the cost of making food in restaurants. And I think we gotta get out there and eat. You know what I'm saying? And it's so easy to hide in your apartment with half a bagel. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
A little slice of tomato. In
Yeah.
your case, I know you're watching The Bachelor or whatever you're watching.
Some housewives.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, it's easy to
home
stay
by
home.
8,
It's
you know?
really easy to stay home.
Yeah,
I also will tolerate mediocre food if the service is fantastic
yeah,
at this point.
Yep.
Because so often I go out and I'm just pissed off by the time I leave.
I know you are.
You know how mad I get.
I love how mad you
You know,
get. Do people know?
I don't think so,
I
because
don't
I'm
think so.
very nice and I don't complain. But because I used to be a hostess and a waitress, I think when I get bad service, like when somebody's rude or arrogant or talks down, it's kiss of death for me.
I think if you've lived it, then
Mhm.
you know how little it would take to be
Yes.
this different and
Yes.
get this much a better
Yes.
result.
Yes.
And
What's your kiss of death in a restaurant?
in a restaurant, honestly, it's something kind of weird. If I smell fish in the dining room, it's over.
Oh, yeah.
That really gives me anxiety.
Yeah.
I start to twitch.
Ooh, that would not be good.
And it's hard because fish is fishy. Even when it's fresh, it can be fishy. I have no threshold for that. But other than that, I have to be honest, being on Chopped for 17 years, every time I go to a restaurant, like they pour a glass of water and I go to sip it and they're like, how is it? You know what I'm saying? And I get it, right? Everybody's like, are we Chopped?
Do you ever tell when something's wrong?
I don't see the purpose.
Mhm.
I don't. I think no matter where you are and what you're eating, a group of people work very hard to get it to where it is. And even if it's not exactly what you want, shut up about it a little bit. Now, that said, when I say stuff like this, people are like, I paid $100 for my steak and it's not right. I'm sending it back. Okay. You know, I'm not telling everybody else what to do. For me, it's got to be really rough for me to say anything. Or
What would make you say something?
I think for me, it's if something's not fresh
Uh-huh.
or inedibly salty, where I can't even pretend to eat it, or I won't. And I do think you hit an age too where you're like, I'm just not going to eat this, right? Maybe when
Yeah.
you're younger, you're like, and I can remember I did not meet my father's mother, my paternal grandmother. I met her only once or twice when I was 13. And we went to her house and she made a giant Italian American spread. I never met her, my grandmother. And my aunt, Lois, leaned over and she said, eat all this for your grandmother. Just eat it all, the whole table. And I just thought, like, I remember a frisson went down my spine. Like, how much food do I have to eat to make these people happy, right? And so I think now I'm just like, it smells like fish in here, and this is a burger joint. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
It's aroma that to me can...
I can't stand if it smells like old oil.
Okay, that's right. Or it's the vents blowing on the street when you walk up.
Yes, yes.
So yeah, I thought you were going to say if someone's rude or snippy, that's the number one for you, I would think. I feel like you care a lot about the humanity of where you are.
I really do.
Yeah.
That really bothers me when somebody's snippy. If the food is fantastic, I'm willing to forgive.
But you're starting to lower your chin. I don't know if you know this about you, okay? But you lower your chin and the eyebrows, raise
go
up. The chin goes down in the eyebrow, and that's the beginning of the end.
Yeah, Iris does the eyebrow raise too. I've passed it on.
That's so great.
It's like you know that something's wrong if the eyebrows are going up.
I think you're in for a lot of that.
Oh, I definitely think I am.
Yeah, with kids. Forget it.
I want to go back in your career. I'd love for you to tell me about your time in France when you trained there, what that was like.
It was
How
so
old
weird.
were you? You were young, right?
Yeah, I did work study at a school called La Varenne in Burgundy. I was like 22, I think. And I packed 2 bags and I just went on a work study.
What made you go?
Do I tell the truth or do I tell the cute?
The truth.
Yeah, I really need to get away from my parents, like hardcore. I live for my mom, but my dad was a lot. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I was like, I got to get out of here. I don't know what's out there, but I got to get out of here. And my dad was like, you got to get out of here. So I think, my dad was very strict in high school. I couldn't do anything. So I think I thought I had to go really far away to have no curfew. When you're young, you're just like, the way it's been is the way it's always going to be, right? If you have only 20 years of experience in this life. Yesterday, Ava was like, I've known her for like 6 years, like a really long time, Mom. And I'm like, that is a long time when you're 17.
Yes, yeah, relatively speaking.
So I did this program and I met a few chefs that were teaching. They would, visiting chefs would come and teach. And then I went and worked in their restaurants around France. So I did that for a while. And that was fascinating because I lived in kooky little pockets of France. I worked in the Savoie by the Swiss Alps, where they have nothing, let me say, in the best way, but this amazing cheese and super dry white wine. I mean, it'll give you a haircut. This stuff's so dry, you just, and then I was going to go home. I'd only been there like a year and change. And my mother was like, why don't you go to Guy Savoy for 2 days? Patricia Wells, the food writer, can get you like a 2-day stage and you can do that before you come home. And he wasn't there the first day. And I was terrified.
And that's in Paris.
Yeah,
right?
27 dudes, 2-star Michelin, then it became a 3-star. 27 dudes. I walked in and I was like an alien. They were literally like, you're a woman and you're American. Like, this is way too much for us to process. They were like, oh, you are American. And I was like, I am American. So it was like I instantly became this like goofy Martian mascot for them. The second day was my last day, theoretically, and Guy Savoy walked in. And he was like, hello, my kitchen is your kitchen. And I looked at him and he looked at me and I was like, Dad? And he was like, daughter? And that was it. I'm serious. It was like, I know you say like, I had a moment where I fell in love.
Mm-hmm. Love at first sight.
This was not love at first sight. This was like missing piece at first sight. daughter, father. And I spent almost 7 years working there. Yeah, I
Wow,
couldn't
that
leave.
long.
Well, wait a minute. So I think it took me almost that long to feel like I could confidently cook everything. Confidently. Everything from a turnip to a duck to a bass.
How was it different to be in a restaurant of that level than the other places you had worked?
Okay, so I think that's the thing about where you choose to work if you're going to become a chef. It's like where you choose to work, it's like the house you choose to live in. It's what you see, it's the habits you form, it's the ingredients you work with. So it's critically important to choose a restaurant that has stuff in it that you like and that you want to make. People are like, I don't know where to work. I don't know how to start out. Go to the best restaurant that makes the food you want to make and you love and mop the floor until they tell you to clean the lettuce. And then the next thing you know, you're expediting and it takes a while. How was it different? It was rough. I don't want to get out my violin because that's just not how I feel about it. It was rough.
Like, what were the hours like?
Oh, the hours were terrible. You get there like 7. You take a break at like 3 after lunch service, come back at 4:30 and work till 11. And you did that basically 6 days a week. We didn't serve lunch on Saturdays, so you could come in kind of later, but it was almost like you don't want to rest too much because then you get your body's like, yo, are we being tired right now? And you're like, no, we're not tired. We're going to work. So you almost have to stay activated. Sunday, I would go to the boulangerie and buy one baguette, cut down the middle, put jam down the whole thing, butter down the other side, close it, put on the Formula One, the Grand Prix, and just sit there. And I mean, there was no chance. I did not go outside. I just was like catatonic with my baguette.
So you were in Paris, but you were mostly in the restaurant.
Oh my God. People are like, oh my God, you must have seen everything. I had to go back to Paris to sightsee. Like, oh yeah, the Louvre. Yeah, let's check that out. I think I went to look at the Mona Lisa, and this was in the 90s. You could walk right up to the Mona Lisa.
Yeah.
Yeah. You had to get through some people taking pictures, but I went right up to her. I was like, what's up?
So different back then.
Yeah, it is, and yet it's exactly the same. But I would go and I kept a running list of bakeries. Those were the kinds of things I did when I lived there.
When you go to Paris now, does it feel like you're going home in a way? Like,
Yeah.
is there like a part of inside you that just wakes up when you're there?
Definitely. Definitely. First of all, I'd like to be that young again like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When you're like, ooh, remember when I thought fitting into these pants was not so big a deal? And now I'm like, damn, look at those pants. They could be a shirt. They could be a scarf at this point, first of all. Second of all, yeah, nostalgia for discovery, right? Because you can go on learning and growing and doing things and discovering. But when you smell strawberries in the street and you realize that you don't think you'd ever actually smelled before seeing strawberries, right? Like, you go to the supermarket, there they are. They're so pretty. They're like, hey, girl. But you don't walk down the street and say, oh, I know there are strawberries here.
It's like listening to you talk about it, I can smell it.
Right.
Yeah.
The smell of rotisserie chicken and strawberries that are like almost fermenting, like they're going to rot in a day or two. But right now, they are just... And then maybe there's like even like the funk of a little cheese wafting from the street. Walking through that, buying just a little piece of cheese and some strawberries and chicken and eating that feeling, it's like an umami bomb.
Is that your ideal Paris meal?
I definitely like to go to the Marché des Ternes, which is in the 17th, which is right by where Guy Savoy was. Guy Savoy has now gotten more fancy, and he's in the 7th by the Invalides and the Place de la Concorde, and they're fancy pants. And it was also fancy then, but a little more, And I would walk through this one market street to go to work. And when I had my hour and a half off, I'd often go down there and, eat a little. There's a little cheese called Roquemadaur. It's usually like a €1 because it's tiny. It's like a little disc. It's my favorite cheese. And I would just go and get a Roquemadaur and like a piece of bread. It was like $5. And I would just take the whole Roquemadaur and rip the bread and just put the whole cheese, and just gently close. It's a theme with me and just gently closing baguettes. There's a lot of that. And I would eat that on the street, and I was so hungry by the way. You
Yeah.
work in a restaurant, you're so hungry.
Yeah.
You don't we cooked bass with caviar and roasted duck with, honey from the Alps. You think we were eating that stuff? I mean, I was having like a bowl of couscous that had nothing on it. And I'm not complaining. I'm just saying there's a fantasy
Yeah.
about chefs and what we eat versus what we make and cook. So yeah, I think being young, being hungry, being exhilarated, that food could have so much taste and smell. Like I hadn't connected with that sense of it, like an ingredient.
Did you speak French before you went, or did you learn it
Oh,
there?
Katie, man. My French was like high schooly. You know what I'm
Uh-huh.
saying? That's an adjective, high schooly. So I was like, bonjour, that type of stuff. Oh my God, did they make fun of me, those dudes? They ragged on me so hard. But they were making fun of me, and then they would walk in literally and be like, America is so stupid. And they would be wearing like a Mickey Mouse shirt and holding a Coke. And I'm like looking at them like, okay, like I kind of.
I got your number.
When I left the restaurant, they said, can you make us a whole American meal? Like all American food.
What'd you make?
I made everything. I made ribs. I made barbecue chicken, chocolate chip cookie, ice cream sandwiches, brownies. It took me 2 weeks to like collect. I had my mom mail me stuff. And
Did they like it?
I don't know. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I put all the food out. There was clean the plates.
So
and
they liked it.
They were all outside smoking, and I was like, how was it? And they were like, ça va.
They couldn't. They just couldn't give it to you.
I don't think so, no. And I love them for it. I think they changed me for the better, and I feel like I changed them. I went back to eat at Guy Savoy a few months ago with Ava, and a lot of the same people were there, all these decades later. And just the relationships that we have, I'm like, wow, you're a big part of like who I am and my standard and what's good to me and how to do things, how to cook. I learned it from them. I learned it from watching them. And I think they get like a little piece of America in them.
What was it like when you took Ava there for the first time?
I think she was overwhelmed. And I think it was interesting because she wasn't so like let's find out everything you did, Mom. She wasn't so interested in my experience with them or there, which I actually loved, because she was just reacting to the environment and the food and the service and the experience itself. And she was like, how do you think they cook this? I bet if you did this and this. And it worries me a little bit because she was taking apart the dishes and putting them back together as she was eating them and getting a lot of things right on the test, if you know what I mean. And I don't want to say she's going to be a chef, but she has what I call that sickness.
She has it in her.
Yeah, completely. And I was so pleased as a parent that she wasn't so caught up in being a part of me, but being an expression of what she learned with me and using it to have her own experience. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. It must have been really special to sit there and think of your past and then bringing your present and your most precious piece of you there.
Beyond. Overwhelming, honestly. I went home, I was like, I think I'll know how I feel in like 5 years about what happened tonight. And just that Guy Savoy was so wonderful to me and that he is a huge mentor to me. We all cook and we hear one person's voice in our heads. I believe that every chef, every cook ends up with one voice that's like, Obi-Wan Kenobi type stuff, like use the Force, Luke. Like we all have the Yoda, whatever it is, right? And he is my internal Yoda. When I am frying an egg or I am putting little potato scales on red mullet for the Queen of France. Is there a Queen of France? No, you know what I mean.
I know what you mean.
It's highbrow, lowbrow, home cooking, competition cooking on Food Network, whatever it is. He's my voice.
I love listening to you talk about your time in France.
Oh,
it's like one of my favorite things about you is hearing those stories. I feel like I have so many things I want to talk to you about. It's like we don't have enough time. I want to know how you made the transition into TV.
Me too. This is going to sound so silly, honestly, because I say this to people and it's just, don't you feel like a lot of what you did, how you got into TV was sort of like you found your place by slowly building, not towards it, but just sort of ended up with a bunch, collecting a bunch of shells on the beach.
Yeah.
And then it became this necklace.
Mm-hmm.
I would go home after being in the restaurant, and Iron Chef America was on really late at night. And I would just watch it. And I was just like, I want to be on this show. I don't care about being on TV. It wasn't about that. It was like, that looks like being the shortstop for the Yankees.
You have a competitiveness inside you.
Yeah.
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 And that's what makes you such a good competitor.
Thank you.
And why people love watching you cook in competitions.
Yes, I live for my daughter, but I will race her to the end of the block and trip her to win. Do you know what I'm saying? So when you have, it's genetic. I didn't do anything. It's not my fault. So you're right. I would go home and watch Iron Chef America and be like, I can do that. I can wipe the floor with all them. Wrong, by the way, but good to think.
Yeah, well, you did some floor wiping.
I've done some floor wiping, but I've been wiped. I've been used as a mop many times.
I think you're being modest.
You know what? But there's so much failure in your success, or so much loss in your win. I do really believe you can't really win until you really, really lose. So I spent like 2 years trying to get on the show because they were like, "Who are you? What are we having you on for?" And not in a rude way, but I'm just saying, I was like, "Hey guys, hey, hey,
Hi.
hi, okay." So it took a while, and then I went on the show, and I lost to Kat Cora. She's amazing, and I went home and I was like, "Okay, like I fulfilled my goal. That felt good. And when can I do it again?" And I didn't know I was going to feel that way. I just wanted that one thing. And so they started having me judge, interestingly enough. They were like, "We like the way you talk about food. We're actually going to have you come in and judge a few episodes." So I judged a few, and that's when I met Bobby. That's how I really, truly met Bobby. I watched him make this oxtail with like tomatoes, and he grated a little orange in there. And he was like wearing his running shoes and bouncing all around. You know what I mean? And I don't know. I was like, I want to do this every day. I just want to, if I had my dream job, I'd just go to Kitchen Stadium every single day and just cook. That would be my dream. And
that would be my worst nightmare.
Would it?
Yes, I would get so much anxiety.
You won a whole shop tournament. You are a ferocious competitor.
One and done. I never wanted to do, I didn't sleep for a week before that.
Yeah, but look at your record. You're like, perfect. You've got a perfect record. You only went out on the field once, but who cares? No one needs to know that. You can tell Iris, mommy was a vicious competitor.
Chop champion.
Yeah. Hey.
Oh, Lord.
Don't kid yourself. So then they started Chopped. Mm-hmm. And I resisted it, honestly. I was like, this is dumb. No one's going to watch a show called Chopped. Yeah. One of my most brilliant moments. But I started doing Chopped. I met, Jeffrey Zakarian. That's where I met Jeffrey. Yeah. Scott Conant, Marcus, Aaron Sanchez, Mark Murphy, Chris Santos, Amanda Freitag, Manit. It was like 8 of us.
It's been like 20 years of that show, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it must be is it the longest running show on Food Network?
Definitely one of.
Yeah, it's got to be one of, if not the longest.
And then they said to us, "You're Chopped judges. You're authority. You're authority figures. You'll never compete on the show." Famous last words. Then they started making us compete against each other and do all these things and so then other competition cooking came out of that. I started to do grocery games, Beat Bobby Flay, right? Competing on Beat Bobby Flay. I think you judged me.
I did. You made lobster thermidor.
Yes.
It was wonderful.
Yes.
Yeah, you won.
Yes.
You beat Bobby.
Oh God. All right. Well, I had Michael Simon in the first round. I actually was more interested in beating him. I feel like I don't want Bobby to be beat on Beat Bobby Flay. I kind of I just want him to make something good and spicy.
I love when he gets beat. You do? I feel like I did my job.
Fair enough. I agree.
That's the only time I feel really competitive is when I'm judging on Beat Bobby and I'm not even the one competing.
Yeah, but I think that's the other element of competition on a lot of shows is when you're judging, like the person that you think is going to win, are they going to win? I think all that's part of having a competitive nature. But I just love to compete. And then when I go there and I do it, I say to myself, this does not feel good right now. But when I'm in it, when I get in the water, when you're like, I'm going to go swimming, it's too cold, I'm just going to go in. And then you go in and it's delicious. That's competing to me. Like once I get past that bunch of shells cutting my feet in the shallow water and you get to that like silky patch of sand, it's almost like tofu under your feet. And you're like, yes, you're waist deep. The sun is shining. That's how it feels.
Alex, you crack me up. I love the way that you describe things. All right, I want to ask you a little speed round.
Okay.
What's your breakfast?
Honestly, fried egg on rye toast with salted butter.
Ooh.
And maybe a little jelly.
Oh, delicious. Okay, what's your favorite fruit?
Cherries. Obsessed. They're so meaty.
Are you just eating them as is, or are you doing something with them?
I love to pickle them. I love to cook them. I love to roast them. I like to pit them so they're still whole. And then just roast them with anything. Duck, chicken.
Delicious. Favorite vegetable?
Really? Artichoke. They're so prickly and difficult.
Yeah.
But when you get to the heart, it's like us. Get to that heart.
I thought for fruit you would surely say pear.
Thank you.
I know you are a pear girl.
We do talk about this a lot. I think you champion certain ingredients, like kale.
We all get our thing that we're kind of on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just so sick of apple being number one. It's time for apple to go down.
What do you think the most underrated ingredient is?
Underrated ingredient. That's a hard one. For me, probably garlic powder.
Same.
I'm obsessed with it.
Don't you think it just adds such an extra punch?
It adds so many things. Pizzeria nostalgia in places you don't expect it. It even, I think, adds a texture. I think it gives body to sauces when you add a lot of garlic powder. It's not garlic to me. It's another ingredient. There's garlic, and then there's granulated garlic and garlic powder. And
do you like onion powder?
I do, but onion powder gets sweet sometimes, whereas garlic powder is all business.
It's all garlic all the time.
Right?
Yeah. What's your advice for someone who wants to be a chef?
This is such a boring answer. You got to do that work, man. You know what I'm saying? You want to win the bodybuilding contest, get in the gym. I think you got to cook and cook and cook until nothing anybody says to you shakes your confidence.
What's your advice for someone who wants to be a better home cook?
I would say take risks. What are the home cook police going to come and arrest you if it's not good? I don't understand. Like, where's the pressure?
Good one. I like that. Would you rather judge or compete?
Compete every time.
I had a feeling. What's a food you could eat every day?
It's so boring. I profoundly love chicken. I could eat chicken every day. Roasted, grilled, basted, barbecued, poached. It's so overutilized and yet also underrated, I feel like. We're just like, oh, chicken again.
I feel like that too. You know,
so sexy,
people will be
chicken.
like, oh, a chicken breast, but you can do so much with it.
Yeah.
And
It's always
people
your
are
friend.
always looking for chicken breast recipes.
Oh my God. Yeah.
All the time. All the time. What's your pantry pull? Like you get home and you're like, oh crap, we didn't go to the grocery store. What are we going to make?
Lately, I'm really on the low sodium chickpea. I know the aquafaba's cute for the waffle batter, all that. No thanks. Just those chickpeas, drain them. I think you can put that vinaigrette in the door of your fridge and let them sit. And then throw a can of tuna on it. Throw whatever leftover produce you have in your crisper, mix it. I'm halfway to a trough salad.
I love it. I love it. Fiber alert.
Yeah. They have a lot of calories, chickpeas, though. It
Do
pisses
they?
me off.
Yeah.
Yeah, they should be low cal.
But you're getting your fiber, your protein.
Totally.
You mix it with that can of tuna.
So good.
That's good. And what's your favorite food city?
Los Angeles.
Really? What is it about LA?
First of all, go to the market and you'll have just go to the Santa Monica Farmers Market and walk
the
around.
best.
You want, first of all, but second of all, there's great produce, there's great agriculture, there are some nice fancy pants restaurants, but it's also all the fast casual food that they have. They have everything. Great cheeseburgers, great hot dogs, great tacos. There's so much quick serve.
And there's every kind of ethnicity there.
Love
And
it.
I mean, like the best Thai town, the little
Korean
Tokyo.
barbecue.
Yeah, Koreatown. I mean, it's amazing.
and great Mexican food,
Oh, the best Mexican food.
which I think in New York we just don't quite.
We don't have it.
Yeah,
That's like the one kind of cuisine that's really missing in New York.
yeah. It's so simple Mexican food
Yeah.
that it's so hard to get right.
And a lot of it has such deep complexities as well.
I think with Mexican food, you actually need to be authentic in your approach, and I don't think a lot of people do that. I
Yeah.
think about Rick Bayless in Chicago,
Mhm.
how he's authentically representing the food in the regions of Mexico, and that's when you get that, oh my God, that taste.
I love in LA like the little taco stands. Oh, the best. What's your birthday cake?
It's got to be, honestly, it's actually Black Forest.
Oh, I love a Black Forest cake.
Yeah, again, we get back to cherries.
Will you
And
make that on the kitchen? You've never made that.
no, I'm going to make it.
Yes, we have to
might make
add
it
that to the
now.
list.
Yeah.
Producers, if you're listening,
Yeah.
add it.
Yeah. A
That
really
should
good
be like
Black
in one
Forest.
of our Christmas episodes or something.
Mm-hmm. My birthday's in June. Perfect for Christmas.
Perfect. Wait, are you having a birthday party?
No, I'm going to just, I don't know, go to a restaurant I like and
Okay.
eat dinner.
For my final question, what is your dream travel destination?
It's somewhere. It's
Somewhere you haven't been.
Oh, really? It has to
Yeah.
be somewhere I haven't been?
Uh-huh.
Oh, but wait, I can't say because it's not a food destination. My
That's all
cultural
right.
destination is the Galapagos Islands.
Oh,
'Cause I've always
dying to
wanted
go
to
there.
go and
Yeah.
see all those live animals, which is terrible as a chef to be like, I'm going to go look at animals. So that would be a nature
Mhm.
centric destination. My dream vacation for food is China. I just want to,
Really?
yeah, I want to go all
Well,
through
you
China.
talk about how your dad loved cooking Chinese food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to see that. I want to experience. I want to smell the equivalent of that French street with the strawberries and the cheese. I want that aromatherapy from China.
Okay. Well, I lied. I want to ask you one more question. If you were going out to dinner tonight in New York City and could go anywhere, where would you go?
Oh my God, this is a hard one. Oh God, that's a hard one to finish with. Hold, please. First of all, what's your answer? Are you going to say Via Carota?
I don't even know. That's not my favorite.
Me neither. Let me think of something good. You know what? I'm going to go weird on you a little bit. Not weird, but it's super nostalgic for me to go to the Namwa Tea Parlor on Bayard Street, and I'm going to pick that because I went in there and I talked to the owner, and he gave me, they have these little almond cookies they give at the end, and he said, when I was a kid, I used to sit at that counter and take an almond cookie and eat it and just look around. And he's an adult now, and he's still in that room, and that really struck a chord with me. Up until the age of 45, I could go home and sit at my childhood dining room table, eat with the same fork and plate, and have my mom make the same dish. And I think that sustaining a memory that long resonates the most. So I would go down there and have like the OG egg roll and some dim sum and walk out on that kookalicious little street and buy like some, like a lava lamp and go home.
What could be better than that?
I mean,
not much.
Dumplings, lava lamps, sign me up.
Tell people where to find you.
Oh, you can find me at Butter Restaurant. You can follow me on Instagram. My last name, Guarnaschelli. And you can find me at Clara, yes, at the New York Historical, which is the oldest museum in New York.
I didn't know that.
It is.
Wow.
On 77th and Central Park West. Yes, definitely join us at Clara.
I loved Clara. Like truly, like Ryan and I talk about a perfect restaurant experience. That Fluke was perfection. Everything about it.
It's special.
I love the dining room, all of it.
It is great.
Yeah.
Yeah, go to Clara.
Thank you for being here. I love you so much. This
Same.
was so fun to see you outside of the studio.
I love
and
this.
just talk about food.
We didn't talk about Ryan at all, though, and I do so like me some Ryan talk. So I'm gonna
That's
have
all right.
to come
He gets
back.
enough airtime.
Yeah, fair enough.
Love you.
Love
Thanks.
you.
Yeah.